From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
In another world exclusive delivered late last night on LA News, your fourth stimulus check update got even richer as Democratic leaders from both the House and Senate are near completion on the inclusion of a fourth stimulus check in the reconciliation budget bill. Staffers tell LA News exclusively that there will be months of checks and that the duration will be $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. And the breaking and the world exclusive last night is that individuals 17 years or younger will not be included because they are getting the child care tax credit. The incredible world exclusive comes after this channel has been the source of advocacy for the inclusion of a stimulus check since early this year. And now the Purple Power has got it because guess what? The Democratic leaders say they want to put it in there. Overnight, viewers reached out to Representatives Jayalapal again and got a confirmation she's putting it in there. And Representative Omar confirming to not one but two viewers of this channel, she's putting it in there as well. The confirmations come after dozens of senators and House members say the inclusion of a stimulus check is looming and is imminent. We'll go over all that incredible details, then we'll be cutting it to the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill. That is checks for seniors, workers, hazard pay, individuals, cars, bikes, home repairs, and money for college students. We'll be cutting to cluster number 2 and 3. We'll be cutting to the final 640, the final pages that are set to be released any moment, and then we'll be cutting to the $313 billion that's coming out to your cities and county states for extra money for rent and utilities. It's a big day because the world exclusives come right here. People were saying you were never going to get anything, that there was no money for you in stimulus, that it was all about roads and bridges. They were wrong. We were right. We pushed. We got it. The world exclusive started here. We got it as this family pushed together to get it. It's a big afternoon and it starts right now. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful afternoon across the board. It's a big day with so much happening as Congress is finishing up the final pages of what could be an 8,000-page bill. And cluster number 1, checks for hazard pay, checks for seniors, checks for workers. Cluster number 2, checks for paid sick leave and for weatherization of your home. Cluster number 3, checks for seniors and checks for prescription medication and free checks for other items across the board. But it's the big world exclusive that has been captivating a country because it started right here, only here, created here with you and me, the Purple Power, as legislator after legislator from the House and Senate told viewers of this channel exclusively, one after another, Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, Wyden, AOC, Jayalapal, and the new one today, Omar, saying they're including a stimulus check and that it will be monthly for individuals 18 years or older. You need to understand what has happened. In nearly 6 months, people wanted to tell you there was nothing in there, that it was just roads and bridges, that there was never going to be any money for anyone in this $3.5 trillion package, that you weren't going to ever get a stimulus check ever again. We said that's not a sufficient answer. We're going to advocate for it. And viewer after viewer advocated with me as the pushing force to get that inclusion of stimulus check. I advocated for it. I told you what to do, how to do, which senators to call, which House members to get, and now all of them say they're including it in there. You've made history. We've made history again. This channel has made history again. I hope people take credit for what you have done and fought to get the money, because when they get that delicious check in the mail, they can put down their donut and thank you. This is LA, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family that makes history day in, day out. We are the only channel we were the place to get a second stimulus check included. It was my idea to get inclusion of a stimulus check in this continuing resolution in December 2020. I came up with the idea, I told you to push, and they got it included. This time around, I said they want to give you an MSC, multiple stimulus check, or monthly. They put it in writing, but push and advocate, because they sometimes change their mind. And you pushed and advocated, and now the world exclusive. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Let's cut all to the details right now. The world exclusive was updated last night on LALATE, the news site, nearly 20 years in existence. That website reported that the details now include that individuals 18 years or older will be getting the check, not newborn to 17, because they're getting the child tax credit, which is up to $300 a month, $3,000, $3,600 a year. Negotiations are near complete. Pelosi's office confirmed that to viewers of this channel no less than 3 times in the last 24 hours, that there will be an inclusion of a monthly stimulus check. Offices from both Senate and House Democrats confirmed to viewers this channel, and that the amount will be $1,000 the first month, $1,000 a month after the first month, the $2,000 running for 6 months. This channel has also learned overnight exclusively that Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House's office, wanted that monthly check after the first month to be $1,400. And that's not unusual because Warren and Schumer and Sanders said the same, but they really couldn't get the whole caucus to agree to $1,400 after the first month, so they agreed to $1,000 per month. World exclusives, and how is this changing by the minute? Omar's office confirming is the same. In the last 2 days, I said, pick up the phone and go over to Omar's office and advocate there, and the confirmations came in overnight. Paul calling Representative Omar's office, and she said she's putting it at the same amount, $1,000 every month for 6 months after the first month of $2,000. A separate phone call made by Ida, who was in Morning's Countdown today, confirmed she called Omar's office, and they got the exact same confirmation. These are different viewers with different phone calls getting the same confirmation. Lynn Glenn, who was one of the very first people to advocate for this channel, she called back to Jalapal's office. As I said, contact Jalapal, Pelosi, AOC, and Omar, and that office said yes, monthly stimulus check. Let's understand how history is being made on this channel. No one said there was going to be a stimulus check in the fourth stimulus package, except the legislators and myself. Earlier this year, House Democrats, Senate Democrats wrote in writing after writing, even introduced a bill that they will be including a monthly stimulus check. This channel launched what at that time was the very first video series called For Stimulus, saying that there will be 4 stimulus checks if these legislators do what they're promising. At the time, a lot of people said it's just roads and bridges. Untrue. Then when the RECON passed, procedurally, I showed you what RECON procedural and RECON substantive was. And a lot of people still wanted to run the narrative, nothing in there, nothing for anyone. This channel's always been about helping, and I said I pick up the phone and advocate. Pick up the phone and advocate. And specifically, I showed you who to pick up the phone and advocate to. It started with WR, who picked up the phone no less than 8 weeks ago after I told viewers to do so, and got the confirmation from Chris Coons, Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's old confidant, that there will be inclusion of a stimulus check in the fourth stimulus RECON. And Coons' office said yes. But I said, pick up the phone and call Bernie Sanders' office, because Bernie Sanders' office has been saying that he wants to hear from you. Bernie Sanders' office made the incredible announcement nearly less than 3 weeks ago that as a budget chairman of the budget committee, I want to hear from you. And Brother Joshua, longtime viewer of the channel, community volunteer from 2020, and Purple Hawk picked up the phone and advocated for a stimulus check. Advocacy starts here, saying why I need it, why my church needs it, and Bernie Sanders' office confirming, yes, the inclusion of a stimulus check, which Sanders wants at $1,000 to $1,400, 3 to 6 months. That started the floodgate. I told viewers to pick up the phone and advocate, and people are wondering, why were comments turned off on the channel? They were turned off because the people commenting on the channel were people who were attacking the very people who need assistance. They weren't members, they weren't subscribers, they were very, very ill people who were attacking Americans in need of need. And we needed to get God's work done. We needed to focus. We needed to be focused on what we were doing. We didn't need idle chatter from people who are very, very ill. And I said, we need to focus. We need to pick up the phone and know where to call. And it started Immediately when all the wrong, idle, fake narrative was drowned out, we could focus on what we're doing. And the floodgates started with Donnie picking up the phone and calling Sanders' office, advocating, getting confirmation that there's MSC in there. Hurricane Tina calling up the phone and advocating, getting confirmation there's an MSC in there for Sanders' office. Carolyn picking up the phone, calling and advocating, and getting confirmation from an MSC from Sanders' office. Yaya calling up Ron Wyden, who had also put in writing the inclusion of an MSC and advocating for that, and also SS200. Then it continued with Will, who took it to another level, advocating to not one but three offices: Sanders, Schumer, and also Elizabeth Warren. And Elizabeth Warren's office confirming that she will be including a $1,400 to $2,000 6 to 12 month check. That mirrors exactly what Pelosi's office told viewers this channel 3 times yesterday and also on Monday, that Pelosi wanted that monthly at $1,400 as well, but couldn't get enough Democrats on board, so they agreed to $1,000 a month. Then we had Casey's office, which was perhaps the most telling confirmation of all to viewer Lorica, that Casey said they're currently in negotiations of the stimulus check provision right now. That started the massive surge of pushes from this channel. Purple Power is about power. Paul picking up the phone and calling and speaking to AOC's office, because I said go over to the House members, go to AOC Omar, Jayapal, Pelosi, and advocate for it. And AOC's office confirming that she would be doing $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000 for 6 to 12 months. It then became apparent that it wouldn't be 6 to 12 months, but 6 months. Jayapal's office confirming the same to Janice. By the weekend, we had Kuhn, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, Wyden, all telling viewers of this channel they're including an MSC, AOC, and Jayapal. But the advocacy really stepped up another level when I showed viewers what advocacy is from Margaret, calling a staffer and crying and breaking down on tears on the phone with the staffer, and the staffer crying as well. Then another viewer whose name I'm withholding for her privacy, picking up the phone and saying, I've lost my husband. I've had 10 surgeries. I'm on SSI and SSDI. I'm raising 2 teenage daughters in the middle of the pandemic. I need this. And then the incredible comment from Mark, who has always tried to help viewers this channel. He's $51,000 Mark. He got $51,000 from this channel, and his neighbors and friends have gotten over $250,000 as well. He called Pelosi's office on Monday and got the confirmation, $1,000 a month after the first month of 2006 to 12 months. Lorraine called as well. The world exclusive came in 2 days ago on this channel and then was updated again last night on this channel. This is where we stand right now. Democratic senators and House members confirming they're near negotiations complete on the inclusion of a stimulus check provision in the RECON. That the staffers tell the viewers of this channel that it will be monthly checks, and that the staffers indicate that it will be $1,000 a month after the first month of 2000, and it will run for 6 months. The new details that you're seeing today on LALATE are the following. That one, the lead authors are AOC, Jayapal, and Pelosi. That Pelosi was key to the negotiations and specifically wanted $1,400 a month, couldn't get it, and so they got $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. There was a real push to try to go to 12 months. They couldn't get it to 12 months, so they're going to do 6 months. And that finally, as logically it would be done, the child tax credit, CTC, pays children 17 to newborn up to $3,600 a year. It would make most sense to give them a check on top of that. So they will not be included in the stimulus check because they're getting $3,600 elsewhere in this bill. There you go. Let's cut to the incredible details of the first 645 pages of the reconciliation budget bill, which is set to debut the remaining pages in the next few days. There are checks in there for lots of things, but the first thing to understand is that everything in that reconciliation budget bill does not need to be COVID related. These are lifetime benefits to the code. The first ones are what is in the 645 pages? Hazard pay, checks for seniors, checks for children, checks of $51,000 of MSC, checks for fixing your home, and checks for bikes, vehicles, cars, and college students. Hey, let's go over each of them one at a time. First, checks for hazard pay. This channel, again, was the only place on the planet advocating for hazard pay in nearly 500 videos in 2020, going over in excruciating detail what is hazard pay and what are essential workers. Finally, we got it included under the third stimulus package in January of this year. But it's not a lifetime provision. Fourth stimulus will make it lifetime. They're taking an old tax code called the Earned Income Tax Credit, broadening the eligibility so more essential workers qualify, and this would be lifetime. So for every year that you work as an essential worker and are in the zone of eligibility, you would get this Earned Income Tax Credit. A big surprise that's absolutely deliciousness came from Representative Richard Neal. It's his baby. No one saw this coming. Total surprise. Is up to $4,000 a year if you care for an elderly person. This is huge. A lot of people are care providers for an elderly person at home. You may qualify. And then up to $4,000 if you care for a young child. You may qualify for this as well. College students, they're going to see different grants. The Pell's grant will now be tax-free. There'll be grants to the colleges and universities directly and some to you directly as well. What about $51,000 of MSCs, monthly stimulus checks? It's happening. If you have a child that's newly born and you're in a low-income household, well, for every month that you're in a low-income household, every year and every up to 18 years, you will qualify for up to $300 a month. Yes, that's up to $300 a month per child, per month, every year, up to 18 years that household remains a low-income household, which amounts to $51,000. How about money for your home? Yes, if your home is in a low-income community, there'll be new incentives to repair that home. Finally, money for bikes, cars, and trucks, all electric, all U.S. auto manufacturers. First, the bike. The federal government will give you up to 15% to get a brand new electric bike. Number two, a vehicle for personal use, up to $7,500. Then a vehicle for business use, up to $7,500, maybe a little bit more. And then a vehicle for business, a truck for business use, yes, that as well. Again, the number three, auto manufacturers and all electric. Well, there you go. That's the first 645 pages of a reconciliation budget bill that is near complete. We're going to see the remaining thousands of pages in the next day or hours. I'm going to go over cluster number 2 of checks and cluster number 3 of checks in just a second. Cluster number 2 has no less than 12 checks, and some of them pay up to $1,700 a week potentially. And cluster number 3 are huge checks, including checks for seniors. But here's a surprise that no one saw coming. An additional $13 billion is coming out from the federal government to the cities and counties and states for rent utilities under third stimulus. This is a big surprise from Treasury. Part of the allocation delineated under third stimulus. The Treasury is happy to provide the state and local governments this additional resources to provide Americans in need additional rental assistance. Wow. More about this in the final 15 later in this video. I'll be going over how you can get this big sum of money for rent, utility, mortgage assistance, and SNAP. It's coming up in just a second. But let's get some more checks. Cluster number 2 and cluster number 3 has more checks in there. But how are they doing this? Let's go over all the details right now. The first 645 pages, the reason why it was written up and released in part, that part of the bill, was that these are the provisions they agreed upon. Who? The House and Senate Democrats. Where? Behind closed doors, in offices, on the phone, having a cup of coffee, in staff meetings. Not on TV, not on the congressional forest, not on C-SPAN, not on TikTok. No, they're doing this behind closed doors. And as they agree to provisions, they write it up. What do you think about the $4,000 to care for the elderly? I like it. Go write it up. 15% for the bike. I like it. Go write it up. And these are the first 645 pages that they liked, and they went and wrote them up. Well, as they go to new provisions, those get written up. Cluster number 2 and cluster number 3 are going to get written up. They haven't agreed yet upon the numbers. Let's go to cluster number 2 because these checks are deliciousness. They are checks, about 12 of them, and they're huge. The first one is paid family and medical leave. What does that mean? Paid family leave. You have to stay at home because the family member is pregnant. Paid medical leave. You have to stay at home because the family member broke their leg. Then child care tax checks, household tax credit checks. Then checks for seniors like lowering Medicare age eligibility, checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing care. Then checks for weatherizing your home. This is the second check for your home. This one's huge, especially if you have to weatherize the home because the Purple Hawks are on the roof. Yeah, weatherizing home is referring to things like the incredible details of weatherizing the home because of a hurricane area or a tornado area or a fire area. Then checks for education. Again, more checks for this. Free pre-kindergarten, and then checks for tuition-free community college across the country. I love this. You can take the very popular new class. It's called What the Hell is LATE Saying? 101. He just talks funny. Learn to talk the strange accent and strange dialect of those LA people. Those Los Angeles people have a strange dialect. Yes, pardon my French. And then the green energy and manufacturing checks as well. Wow. More about that in a second, and we'll be cutting to cluster number 3. But where are those House and Senate Democrats? They're in town. They're in session. But remember, in session means nothing for us, because what's important to understand is they're doing the negotiations behind closed doors, on the phone, on the offices, in their Senate, in their meetings, not in session. All right, let's go to cluster number 3. And I think cluster number 3 really has a critical element, and that critical element is the $107 billion world exclusive on this channel. This channel will show you why $107 billion is now available for you and not for something else. Free school meals for all checks. These are the checks that the president wants included, and they're getting in there. Cheaper prescription medication checks, checks for free internet, checks for farmers, checks for the digital, checks for clean energy, checks for worker protections like independent contractors, and checks for workers as well. And then checks for seniors, like a lowering Medicare eligibility age, checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing care. I think this one is a biggie on the scope of world exclusives. Last Friday, buried in a news article, was the announcement that the Senate parliamentarian had taken one of the provisions of this third cluster and said it has to be removed. She removed it. It's a provision that doesn't concern you. That's why I don't ever deliver it on camera. It's about the judiciary. And what I did was I went back in my old notes, which were very buried. It's not something that Broadcast Me would ever cover, how much each of these checks were. And that check is $107 billion, which means that because the judiciary won't be getting the $107 billion, guess who will be? You will. They have more money to allocate to items for you. The other 2 checks in this third cluster, which I really like and the president likes, are instant savings to you. The first one is cheaper prescription medication. How would this work? Let's say you go to pharmacy on Monday and take 2 $20 bills out of your wallet to pay for a prescription. Well, this becomes law shortly thereafter. When you go to refill the prescription, you may only have to take out one $20 bill from your wallet. Then the big surprise is the free internet. The federal government is going to give local cities and counties and states more money so that they can offer you free internet. All you have to do is say, hey, I want that T-Mobile. T-Mobile? Yeah, the sirloin operation. T-Mobile. What's the username and password? Password is scarf. There you go. Coming up in the second half of this video, we'll be going over more about this world exclusive broke last night on LA News. You're not going to hear this anywhere else because this is a channel that's making history. You're making history. This is the channel that made history for second stimulus, is on the cusp of doing it again under fourth stimulus. We're going to go over more about this world exclusive, what you need to know. Then we'll be cutting to the big money under third stimulus. That absolutely is shocking the shoes off of everyone, including the nonprofits that suddenly are paying big money to viewers this week. Oh my goodness, you're not hearing this anywhere else because this is what this channel does. And then if time allows, I'll get shortly back to the budget ceiling limit issue, which I covered yesterday, and more about this stimulus. It's a big afternoon, and the afternoon just starting. Stay with me, I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. and then afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues right now from Santa Monica, California, as afternoons LA heats up. The world exclusive, more about that will be coming up as Omar's office speaks out as well. We'll be going through each of the offices and what they have said leading up to today's world exclusive broke last night on LA News. We'll be cutting back then to fifth stimulus if time allows briefly, and a little bit about the debt ceiling limit, but more importantly, we'll be focusing on the big money under these MSCs. We'll be cutting also to the huge money available now from third stimulus. It's a big afternoon and history is making right here, right now. And with that, I want you to subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. The family that's making lives change by the minute. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's go right into third stimulus, because I don't want to delay a minute because this is big surprises. $13 billion is lying out in Kenny cities and counties and states since last week from Department of Treasury as an additional allocation of money under third stimulus. This is huge. This is rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance. And I'm going to show you how to get this money right now. But first, let's look at why the numbers have gone so high. In less than a month, the numbers have gone up 200 to 400% on this channel. That means that the Purple Hawks are doing better than ever before. Have you become a member? The link's under the video. Here we go. Viewers were getting $20,000 a month ago for rent. Now we're getting $40,000. Like Jen late last week, countless viewers are getting over $36,000. We were getting $5,000 a month ago for utilities. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 last week. When we talk about SNAP, the numbers have gone from this to now $21,000 for Mark's brother-in-law. Viewers like Johnny, Mark, getting massive sums of money, but the numbers are going huger than ever before. Johnny getting $80,000, Lorraine $105,000, Mark $51,000, his three neighbors and friends getting $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. It's big numbers. I want to get you that money right now. So get a pen, paper, and cell phone ready. If you haven't become a member, please consider to do so. We're going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and SNAP. First, introductory remarks. First, I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Reach out to all 6. If one says no, reach out to the next. They have different eligibility, different pots of money. Number 2, listen to the keywords I say in this video. Number 3, lean on the nonprofits. They're coming up in a second. All right, here are the 6 places you reach out to. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, and your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. Let's go over the 6 places again. City hall, city house authority. County hall, county house authority. State hall, state housing authority. Now, here's what's important to understand, is that this $13 billion coming from the federal government for rent and utilities is landing everywhere. Every state, every county, whether it's a red or blue state, whether it's a poor or rich state, they're going to have the money, but the money is also going to run out very quickly. So call them up, get on a waiting list. If they don't have a waiting list, tell them, ask them if you can call every week. If you're a member to this channel, I now include the Treasury newsletter about the Treasury press release about this $13 billion in the newsletter for members. It's important to read that before you call up so you know exactly what you're talking about. Then reach out to all utility companies. If you have 5, reach out to all 5. Remember, utility assistance because of COVID. Then I want you to lean on the nonprofits. Let's go over the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. They are also featured now in the upgraded newsletter nightly that comes out to members. It's huge because the nonprofits are paying big sums of money like 2020 all over again. This channel made hundreds of videos in fall 2020 and early 2021 called Purple about just the nonprofits. I brought them back in the mix a week ago, unbeknownst to whether they're paying or not. Oh boy, are they paying. Viewers are getting weatherization of the home. They are getting refrigerators, furnaces, window repairs, money for stuff that is totally different than the federal government. Remember, the nonprofits can do rent, not necessarily have to be behind on your rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, shelter for homeless people, money for food, sometimes clothing, and of course, Salvation Army. Get ready to get those holiday gifts starting in September and early October. Let's go over those 5 nonprofits again. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Next, SNAP. I want you to get SNAP. You get it from Department of Agriculture. Reach out to them. Department of Agriculture is raising everyone's benefits up an average of 25% lifetime automatically starting in October nationwide. So Mark's brother-in-law going from $21,000 to $26,000. This has caused some confusion because I've made very clear, but I need to repeat it every day, that what SNAP is doing is sending out a letter that says the old increase you have is ending. And then there's going to be a separate letter that comes after that that says there's a new increase. So don't be alarmed if you see the first letter says, oh, your SNAP is going down, because there'll be another letter that says your SNAP is going up. Then unemployment benefits. Yes, the refund check back from your state due to overpayment of unemployment benefits due to computer error. That's coming. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. And then the one from IRS where you pay taxes on the 2020 unemployment benefits. That's coming. Average payment is about $1,200 to $2,000. You can track it on irs.gov. It comes in the mail or by direct deposit. Margaret got it, Ka got it, Michael got it. If you got in any of these sums of money, post it in the live chat, because when you do, you inspire other people. Finally, if you have not become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP, a member of this channel, please do. The link is under the description. Daily at night, I send out the newsletter to members of this channel. Members are given a breakdown of all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus, so that viewers like Mark are getting $51,000, Johnny $80,000, Lorraine $100,000. I show you what the money is. I now include the nonprofits. I now include the Treasury statement. And I also include what's proposed under fourth and fifth stimulus. And if you look at the fifth stimulus, like I did last night, it looks like maybe some of the items of fifth stimulus will be going into fourth stimulus. It's very, very helpful as a newsletter. And with that, let's go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now with a world exclusive that starts right here. It was February. It was March when I started recording the very first videos anywhere on the planet with the title Fourth Stimulus. I told you at the time that the president was going to be putting stimulus checks of various kinds in what would become the fourth stimulus package. At that time, there was also roads and bridges in there. And it certainly became a hard story to report where people said, but it's about roads and bridges. I said, the roads and bridges are also in there, but it's not only about roads and bridges. Once the roads and bridges were removed, it made it easier for me to explain this RECON, this budget bill, is all checks for the American people. But along the way, we had enough people that said, I don't think there'll be checks for me. I don't think there'll be a stimulus IRS check in there. I said, you need to advocate, because we have House and Senate Democrats writing letters that say they're including it, writing bills that say they're including it, but you still need to advocate. And advocacy started months ago, and it started, in fact, 8 weeks ago, when WR, longtime viewer of this channel, heard my cry, my plea for people to advocate by picking up the phone and advocating. And he did. He picked up the phone and called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's old confidant, and advocate for stimulus checks. This is why I need it. This is why I need it, said WR. And Senator Chris Coons' office said, yes, he's including a monthly stimulus check for you. World exclusive started there. But some people thought one office of one elected official was not enough. So we paid attention. I paid attention. And I heard Bernie Sanders say a pivotal quote in a pivotal week. It was about 3 weeks ago, where I told viewers, listen, remember that we have a Senate Budget Committee and a House Budget Committee. I was reporting at the time exclusively that the Budget Committee of the House will actually write the bill and actually release it. Now, we know I was correct, of course, because the first 645 pages were written by the House. But I also told you Bernie Sanders was very important in the equation, because he's the guy who specifically told Americans he got you the $3.5 trillion price tag. He went in asking for $7 trillion, and he got $3.5 trillion, totally fine with it. He loved that number. He also said that week, 3 weeks ago, that unlike prior budget chairmen in D.C. and the Senate, I like to get out amongst the people when doing a budget bill. I said that translates as he wants to hear from you. He wants you to advocate. And I showed viewers what advocacy is. I tried a lot of things. I tried to tell people not to be donut guys, and yet I still got donut girls and donut guys. I even had a picture of a donut girl. Is she here somewhere? I think she's here somewhere. I even brought Calendar Colleen in here and tried to laugh off the situation, Calendar Cod and Freedom Frida and the Wens. And I said, let's laugh about these things. But it wasn't particularly working. And one of the best things I think I could have ever done was turn off the comments. I said I turned off the comments because we needed to focus on getting our stuff. And there was too much extraneous things that had nothing to do with us. And when we focused and you heard my message, it started to snowball. I said, Senator Sanders says he wants to hear from you. Pick up the phone and call. Advocate to Senator Sanders' office. And not a lot of people did, but some did. Margaret did, Lynn Glenn did, and Brother Joshua. Brother Joshua is a 2020 volunteer to the community page. He's gotten people hundreds of thousands of dollars in 2020. He is a longtime Purple Hawk as well. He picked up the phone and advocated to Bernie Sanders' office saying, I need a stimulus check. This is why my family needs it. This is why my community needs it. A lot of people have never done advocacy. A lot of people, advocacy was sort of new for them. Even though they do it on a regular basis, they didn't know what it was, what it looks like. And I show viewers, this is what advocacy is. It's by picking up the phone and saying, I need it because this is what's happened to my family. This is what's happened to my community, my church, my town, my business. It became so apparent that in the last 3 days, people have really taken advocacy to a level I am so proud. Here's Margaret 48 hours ago showing her advocacy when she picked up the phone and the staffer on the Senate office she called broke down and cried with her during that conversation. This advocacy should win a prize. It's so inspiring. The individual whose name I'm withholding because of her privacy said, I picked up the phone and I told the staffer, I lost my husband during the pandemic, and I've had 10 surgeries during the pandemic. I've had to raise 2 teenage daughters during this pandemic, and I'm on benefits. I don't have enough money. I need it. That's advocacy. That's advocacy. And suddenly advocacy had a clear face again on this channel. And Brother Joshua brought that advocacy to that conversation with Bernie Sanders' staff and said, I need it. And Sanders' staff said, yes. Monthly, $1,000 to $1,400, 3 to 6 months, but needs to hear your support. The World Exclusive started there. The number one guy on the number one budget committee telling the number one channel on the number one place for news across the globe, he will do it, but he needs to hear your support. A channel that has 139 million views in 1 year, we got this. We got your support, Senator Sanders. And I said, pick up the phone and start calling. And you really did an amazing job. It was at that point that love prevailed and people came together and did what a family does. It started with Donnie calling up the phone and advocating. I need it because this is what my city needs, my community needs, I need it for my water. I needed to progress in where I am in life. And Sanders' office saying, you're going to get it. Hurricane Tina, which we all know what she has had to go through in the last 30 days, she picked up the phone and advocated vigorously and got confirmation from Sanders' office, monthly stimulus check. We had Carolyn, who's absolutely wonderful. She's on Countdown's Morning LALATE every day at 7 a.m. She really advocated well. She said, listen, people are losing their homes. They're losing what they got. We need this. Sanders' office confirming a stimulus check monthly. Yaya, which we all know what she has endured. She picked up the phone and called Ron Wyden's office saying, I need it. This is what people on disability and benefits need. And she also got the push for SS200 included. Now, Ron Wyden is part of the coverage of this channel because he's one of the people who said he would give you a monthly stimulus check. He put it in writing. But this advocacy took another level when Will picked up the phone, called not 1 but 3 offices. Warren, Schumer, and Sanders. But it's the Warren one that is perhaps the most telling. Warren, during Will's advocacy, tells Will that Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren, will be doing $1,400 to $2,000 for 6 to 12 months. That was a biggie. That was a biggie because she is a very big vocalized supporter of stimulus. Lorica got us another level, though. Lorica got us the information that Senator Bob Casey's office confirms they're in negotiations right now about the amount. But Lorica's comment, remember, is a week ago. So let's bring it up to let's bring it up close to the present. Late last week, I said, listen, okay, you got House, you got the Senate members. You've done incredible work with Senators Warren, Schumer, Coons, Casey, and Wyden. Now go over to the House. Call Omar, call AOC, Jayapal, and Pelosi, and it started thereafter. Viewers never thought they could get through the phone on Pelosi's office and advocate. Oh boy, they could. And it came with the incredible comment from Paul, who called AOC's office last week. Got confirmation. The inclusion of a stimulus check, $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Then Janice heard my plea. She called Jayapal's office, got confirmation of inclusion of a monthly check. The world exclusives continued early this Monday when Mark, that's $51,000 Mark, got Pelosi's office on the phone, and his advocacy resulted in confirmation of $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000, 6 to 12 months. What happened? Since yesterday, I said you gotta go to Omar's office. You gotta get Omar's office on the phone and get her to confirm the same. You gotta get her to agree she's gonna do it, and she does. She says $1,000 a month after the first month of 2,000 to Paul. She says it to Ida. Omar, I was just on the phone with Omar's office. They're putting in $1,000 a month after the first month of 2,000. And Lynn Glenn going back to Jayapal's office and getting the confirmation again as well. This is the face of advocacy. This is the face of the purple power. This is what people can do when we focus as a team, when we focus with love, when we focus with advocacy. These congressional leaders always said they were going to do it for you, but a lot of people wanted to tell you they were never going to do it for you. And yet we've had times where congressional leaders said they would do something and then backed off. Down to the last step, what has happened? Pelosi's office tells viewers this channel the last 24 hours, and that was part of the world exclusive last night on LALATE News, that she was trying to fight for $1,400 a month after the first month of 2,000, but she couldn't get enough Democrats to agree to it. They would agree to $1,000 after the first month of 2,000. Moreover, there was another attempt to try to do it for 12 months. They couldn't get 12 months, so they got it at 6 months. A lot of these things don't have to deal with the issue of they don't think you deserve it. It's whether they have enough funds allocated for it. Remember, it's $3.5 trillion, which is a lot, but it's also not a lot. And that's why Bernie Sanders went into those negotiations earlier this year asking for $7 trillion. They got $3.5 trillion. This is what the face of advocacy looks like. Let's go over two quick things to end today. First, FIS stimulus. Will it heat up? Yes. FIS stimulus heats up later this year. Raising your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. It's coming to a vote later this year. I'll be covering more about that tonight on Evenings LA. Then, the debt ceiling limit. I covered a lot of this yesterday, but here's what you need to know is one, debt ceiling limit concerns nothing for us because debt ceiling limit concerns the providing of money to pay for existing laws. Forced stimulus is not existing laws, so it has nothing to do with it. Number two, debt ceiling limit has nothing to do with our work schedule because the House Democrats have already done the debt ceiling limit bill. They've already sent it to the Senate. It does not taking up anyone's time on working on forced stimulus recon. And number three, the debt ceiling limit has nothing to do with you and your benefits, your Social Security checks, your SSI and SSDI, unless the debt ceiling limit issue remains an issue for this channel into November of this year. It doesn't look like it's going to be. It goes 2-3 days overtime and then it gets resolved. No big deal whatsoever. Join me next with a whole slate of programming coming up tonight. Evenings LA at 5 p.m. Overnight's crypto. Then shows at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11:30. Make sure Americans know, make sure your neighbors know, make sure your friends know that this channel is the channel that is making things happen. This is the channel that got that push to insert a provision like this in the forced stimulus recon. This is the channel that educated you. This is the channel that brought everyone together to advocate for it. Make people realize that this is the place that the things started and the things happened with. It's important they recognize it because when things happen in the future. When things are mailed out, Donut Guy may not appreciate it, but I hope all the rest of us appreciate what happens. And I'll see you next on Overnights Crypto and Evenings LA. So with that, subscribe. A 400,000 subscribers a YouTube record. I wish you're part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Don't forget to sign up for those LATE alerts, which is totally free. The link is also in the description. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.